everyone, in today's video I'm going to tell you all about my new book. I'm so excited. I wanted to do a sit-down chatty video basically to tell you about where the idea came from, everything that's happened over the last few months leading up to it, what's happening next, and a title reveal as well. If you are signed up to my newsletter, you'll already know a little bit about this project, so if you want to be amongst the first to know what I'm working on, please do sign up. I only send out a newsletter once a month and the link is in the description. So to start at the beginning, I'm not sure when I had the idea for this book, but it may have been before my first book came out. And so my first book, Milk, there's a link below if you want to have a look and find out more, is about breastfeeding my children. And the main sort of theme message behind that book is that in our society, there's a lot of misconceptions about breastfeeding. It's not very well kind of understood. There's not a lot of knowledge out there, and it makes it very difficult if you are a breastfeeding parent or in a part of a breastfeeding family, that it's very challenging because there's just so many misconceptions out there. And so as somebody who has young children and reads a lot of children's books and I've worked in education, to me, it seemed that another piece of that kind of puzzle of normalising breastfeeding was a children's book. And I wanted to bring out a children's picture book aimed at really young kids that plays a part in that conversation, basically, in normalising breastfeeding a bit more. And just, if somebody read about it when they were little, then that's just another time that they've been told things about it. It just continues to tackle that normalisation. Anyway, but the other important part of that concept is that I wanted this to be a book that anyone can read, because I'm very conscious that as somebody who obviously has a real interest in breastfeeding, I've read loads of books about it, I wrote a book about it, I'm a breastfeeding peer supporter, it matters a lot to me. It's something that my children have seen, my older children have seen me breastfeeding, but we're around other breastfeeding parents, and we talk about it. I might be talking about something that I've read that day or whatever. It's, me and my husband will be talking about things. So it's something that's discussed in our household. I'm comfortable talking about it if the kids have questions. It's just normal in our house. But I know that's not the same for everybody, and not everyone will feel comfortable talking about it. And I didn't want to produce a book that basically was going to be for families who already are comfortable with it, if that makes sense. Although, of course, this will be a lovely book for those families. But I wanted this to be a book, like I said, that anyone will feel comfortable reading, and that's really gentle, and yeah, that was the idea. And I thought that the best way to tackle that would be to use the examples of animals, because most people have seen an animal feeding its baby. Most people have seen a cow feeding. You've seen animals in zoos or farms or, out and about in the field. But most people have a concept of animals feeding their babies. And so I felt that a book that kind of said, well, this is what animals do, and we're animals too, so that's what we do too. That was just a really easy, gentle way of doing it, and that I didn't want to have too much of like the actual kind of mechanics of it or anything like that, that it was just this is what it is. So that then if a family wants to have their own conversations, and kids are asking questions and a family wants to deal with that in whatever way they want to, then they can do that. I just wanted it to be like a start to that rather than giving everything, if that makes sense. I also avoided using words like breast or nipple that I thought some people might feel uncomfortable reading. So the whole idea is that it's very gentle, just anyone can read it. Really lovely story, if I do say so myself. So that's the concept behind it. And I wrote the first draft in probably last spring, probably about March. And then the first lockdown happened. And I say that because we've just gone into the third lockdown in the UK. And so my kids are, this is the second time that the kids have been at home, and so with a book launch looming, it's not imminent, but still, and everything that needs to be done, I've got to homeschool the kids, so that's marvellous. And big hugs to everyone, because it's just difficult for everyone under the current circumstances, and wherever you live, if you're under different restrictions in another country, big hugs. But so in the first lockdown, so my original intention had been to use an Illustrator, but with the first lockdown and everything that subsequently happened, the things that bring money into my business, so all the book events and all the school events and all of that, all disappeared, and so I didn't have the resources to fund that. So I thought, it's okay, I'll illustrate it myself. Now I'm creative, I can draw, I got a C in art GCSE, like I'm alright. I'm actually sat next to a painting that I did that I liked, so I hung it on the wall. So I thought, it'll be alright, I'll figure it out. So I watched loads of YouTube videos on how to illustrate. A friend of mine bought me a course, which was really lovely, and I bought watercolours and paper and stuff, and I spent weeks and months trying to do this. And basically it's really hard. Who'd have thought? So basically, after I'd been working on it for, I don't know, 3 or 4 months or something, I laid out my illustrations and looked at them and just thought, looking at these objectively, taking kind of my heart out of this, these aren't good enough. And if I'd have paid an illustrator and this is what they'd sent me, I would be cross. So there comes a time sometimes when you're working creatively where you do have to take a step back and say, actually, this isn't working. And it was horrid, and I felt rubbish, and I thought, okay, well, in which case I'll just shelve this project, it's fine, it will happen eventually, it's okay. So that's what I did, and I worked on some other things, and those other projects are coming. So in maybe October, November, something like that, just really wanted to work on this project. I believe in it, I think it's important, I think it's a really lovely story, I'm really proud of it. And I started kind of researching how I could do it again, and basically I want to do it, and so I'm going to. And I decided to be brave, and I've been readdressing lots of things in terms of how I run my business and the things that I do, and I think everyone reassessed lots of things over the last year. And so I've decided, based on some changes I'm making and various things, I'm doing it. So I started researching illustrators, and I got a few quotes, and I settled on a really lovely illustrator called Rhiannon, who I'll link below. She did some illustrations for another indie author called Krina Christie, who I'll also link below, and her book looks beautiful, and I was really happy with everything with her. And at some point I'll make a video about how to find an illustrator. I already made one about your options, but anyway, I digress. So I found an illustrator. My book has been edited by a lady called Lizzie, who I know. Lizzie, I don't know if it's Sabin, I'm not sure, but I'll link her below as well, so that was fab. And it was beta read before that, so I had a little team who beta read the book, which was lovely. And I may as well do the title reveal now. So one of my beta readers, Laura, who's my friend that I mentioned on here before, Laura, well, basically we had a group chat, and I was saying, I don't know what to call it. Like, I've written the book, but I don't know what the title is. I'm really struggling. And I was like, what about this? And, whatever. And Laura came up with the title, which I think is brilliant. And so in the book, I haven't told you what the book is about. Let's take a step back. So I gave you an idea, but okay, so in the book, a little girl called Tilly, her mum takes her to visit her uncle James and her auntie Grace, and they've just had a baby. And when Tilly goes in to see the baby, Auntie Grace is giving the baby a really close cuddle. And Tilly wonders why, and she starts asking Auntie Grace some questions, and Auntie Grace starts talking about different animals and what they do, and it's quite funny, and they have a really cute relationship, and basically just explains to Tilly, well, you know, I'm just feeding my baby the same as they do, and it's really cute. And one of the things that is in there is that Mummy and Tilly have brought some cookies, and there's a few references to these cookies in the text. So my friend Laura said, oh, well, you should call it milk and cookies. And I was like, yes! Because obviously milk and cookies is a thing. My first book is called Milk as well, so that's cute that there's like a little tie in there. And it's about breastfeeding, so milk, and there's cookies in it. And I just really love it. I think it's such a cute title. It's really good. I'm so excited. And so, yes, it has a title. So that's the situation I'm in right now. So what happens next? Well, right now it's being illustrated, which is super exciting. And then after this, the next thing that will happen, I'll start formatting it, and then I'm going to be running a Kickstarter, which is a whole new thing to me. So running a Kickstarter means that I can do more with this project than I can afford to finance myself. And it also is a really exciting way to market the book, you know, and give people the opportunity to pre-order while the book is still being made, you know, it's still in its infancy, that people can sort of pre-order it, which is really exciting. I've been watching lots of other Kickstarter campaigns, and I'm really excited to be able to give it a go myself, and obviously I'll share everything that I learn on here. So that will be the next thing, and I'll be announcing that on here. I'll be doing some live streams and stuff as well. So, but if you want to be the first, then again, sign up to my newsletter, and you'll get all the information. And yeah, so there'll be a Kickstarter next. Then there's another kind of new side to things, that with this book, I am not using print on demand, which is a whole new decision that I'm getting to grips with, but I am very, very excited. And again, I'll be sharing all of that with you. I am getting this printed with an offset printer, and I'll be distributing it, and very exciting. I've seen other indie books where they've been printed by, you know, in bulk by an offset printer, and they're just so beautiful, and I'm so excited for the options that brings, and I'll be explaining all of that more in a future video. But yeah, so that's a whole new thing as well. So yeah, I'm going to be working on that, and the book will probably be out in about April. I'm not setting a firm date yet because I don't want to put the pressure on myself right now, since I've got the kids homeschooling and everything's so unpredictable at the moment. I'm going to set the firm release date nearer the time, in case there's any hiccups, in case just anything. So yeah, it will be around April time that the book will come out. Yeah, it's very, very exciting. So if you are as excited as I am, then please hit like. Oh, it's going to be so gorgeous. I can't wait for you to see it. Hit like if you're as excited as I am. I will be hitting like probably about 100 times, although what would be the point, because it would just go on and off. But anyway, yeah, hit like. Let me know in the comments how excited you are, because I'm excited. Yeah, I'll be chatting to you in the comments. If you've got any questions about it, then let me know. And please do subscribe so that you can be kept up to date with everything that's happening, even if this isn't a book that you're interested in personally, just to follow the journey. So please do subscribe, and I will be telling you everything that I learn, everything that happens. I'm very excited. So yeah, I will be talking to you soon about all of this in another video. And in the meantime, take care of yourselves. I'll see you all soon.